Diff upgrade time. What have we got? A lovely 1993 Holden Commodore SS. It's a 5 litre, 4-speed auto, rear wheel drive, but it needs a stronger diff. Why? Because it was made in 1993. That's why. What's involved? Well, what's involved is one of those things that we're going to show you. Or maybe we'll show you just enough. So this is what I like to call Mechanic TV, where I get to do some stuff and you get to watch. If you chimed in last week, you would have seen me pull an engine out. Not bad. It's sitting just over there. Maybe later on we can do something else with it. Someone did ask if we could put it on a stand, which, okay, I'm not against it. It's not that hard. All right, so follow me over here. This vehicle is fitted with an independent rear suspension and independent rear differential. So we pretty much just have to undo the shafts, or as the Americans call axles. We call them drive shafts. The tail shaft or prop shaft, I think the Americans call that the same thing. Undo some ABS sensors and mounts and drop this thing out. It's not that hard. It's not going to take that long. So we're going to fit this diff. Oh, wait, did I say diff? I did. Check this out. We've got a built one right here. So this has been sent to us and it has the differential LSD upgrade already fitted. It also has 3.9 gears, which is a lot better than the 3.08 that it does have. So it's going to take off and it's going to be a good thing. All right, let's get this done. First thing up, we'll undo the tail shaft. I'll get some spanners out. A lot of people, funny enough, get this wrong. The nut's supposed to be on the back side and it's not supposed to spin. It locks into the differential flange. So, hot tip, if you're gonna undo one, you gotta undo the bolt, not the nut. So hold the nut still. There we go. That one's loose. We'll do another one. Oh, can't get an edge on it. Can be a little bit finicky, and especially who's been at it before you. Because the reason I'm talking about it is because a lot of people stuff them, and it just makes this job harder than what it needs to be. They use this flange up until VT, and it's available in V8 and V6 discs. So don't believe everything you read online. Your M80 is available with a 4-bolt flange. I know, because I've got one. All right, this is being a bastardo. Not sure why. I'll have to get a bit of excess light on this momentarily. Yeah, looks like someone's had a go at it. This is what happens. I'll try a different size, see if we can get around it. Okay, so we've got the wrong size spanner, but at least it goes on. So if we can hold it still, we lock it against the suspension. Nah, no bueno, as George or Squirrel McNutt would say. Yeah, we actually do watch American YouTube stuff down here in Australia. Hello. And I don't just mean to Squirrel McNutt, I mean hello to everyone out there watching this. I wonder if old Cleto called him Squirrel McNutt, and it's like, yeah, that's your name now. All right, well, this is officially going to be one of those jobs. So there's an alternative way to undoing this. And I don't mean a hammer or an angle grinder or an oxyacetylene. We put this in the cup. So the weld yoke's not going to like this. There we go. That's not tech tip for the day. This is what not to do. But as you just saw, I just spent minutes, well, I'll probably speed it up for you guys watching the video, but we just spent minutes trying to loosen up a nut that should have been an easy job. So it's amazing what happens when stuff is stuffed. You know what? Let's just do that again. Oh, wow. These nuts and bolts are FT. And they do need to be very tight. Very, very tight. Maybe they haven't been out in a long time. Oh, that's not nice. Grab a tool, there's no battery in it. All right, let's get these out, eh? That's not a great fit. I think we need a shorter socket for that one. But once they're loose, they do just come out, so. Crack them, loosen them up, make it happen. No! Alrighty, that's two. So what kind of diff have you got in your car? That's the question. Have you got an open diff? Have you got an LSD? Or have you got one of these aftermarket LSD, torque lock, true track, what have you? And what's been your experience with it? Has it been a good thing? Has it been a nightmare? Now, as you can see, there's oil pouring out of this. And this is a common fault when the pinion seal is actually working, but the diff has actually started collapsing. So the pinion yoke is damaged and it's leaking past the thread and spline. Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. You can see that the front of the diff is leaking. And there's now a puddle on the ground. That's not cool.
No, as long as you're getting this changed.
Yeah. Just in time. All right, someone's done a little bit of creative zip tying back here. Well, you don't want stuff just willy-nilly floating about. Better off having stuff secured. So there's a left and a right ABS sensor or wheel speed sensor fitted to the differential. Considering that the differential is connected to the left and right drive shaft or axle. All right. Too easy. All right, there's the electronic component. Also a diff breather on top. We'll just pop that off. Now, the fun part, we need to undo these drive shaft bolts. They can come apart very easily, and they can also be a pain in the backside. I'm going to try and undo these ones and see how they go. That's one. That's two. That's three. Oh. 5, 6. All right, so those were not very tight. Let's see how we go on the other side. Okay, so that's a tight one. That's what you would normally expect. So, I'll be back in a moment with the right tool. So we can undo this one. So we've got a breaker bar. We've got to make sure that that socket is all the way in. Sometimes just give her a little tapper. And I don't mean tap dancing like Lisa Simpson. We use a hammer. Tapper. Then we just pull the handbrake, stabilize the wheel, undo it. Just double check. Yeah, right. So that's one. Let's see if the other ones are the same. I only had a little bit on it. Hope you're all liking the action cam that we got going today.
If you don't, give us a comment.
We do like polite comments.
Yes.
I mean, we've all got mouths and we've all got keyboard fingers that can say things, but we appreciate polite comments. Now let's see if we can get this undone. Can't even get the socket back on. There we go. There, look at that. How to undo bolts without rounding them. Well, fun fact is it's called a cap screw, not a bolt. This Allen key headed delight, it's actually called a screw, even though it has a machine thread. But hey, here's what it is. Sometimes we just gotta make lemonade when you got lemons, or whatever goes. All right, so now we're gonna undo the transmission mount and lower this thing. I'm gonna grab a 13mm socket, which I've already got in the gun, ready to go. Because we have the wall of guns, we can speed a few things up. All right, good old squeaky. Don't skip leg day. All right, I don't want to lift the car off the hoist. Pull the 4 bolts out. That's 2. Hey, that's 3. That's 4. Keep them down there for safekeeping. All right, now, sometimes when you do this, you can let the springs out, so you gotta watch those. All right, next we're gonna need a 13 to undo. Did I bring a 13 out? Yeah, I did. We're gonna undo the sway bar, and we're gonna go over the top. So I've got a special tool here. I've got a bolt on the top side. Can't see it, but hey, here it is. I pulled it out. So we just lift that bracket up a little bit. Do the same to the other side. Put the bolt aside as well. And I dropped it. No, there it is. Okay, so sway bar. Sway bar can now move freely. Why do we want to do that? We want access. On top of these diffs is 4 big bolts. Some rattle guns and ratchets and whatnot will undo them without too much drama. I'm just going to check the tightness on it because we don't want to damage a tool for no reason. That's one, definitely undone. Yeah, I've got the other one before. All right, so I'm gonna go over the top. You won't be able to see this one. Maybe you can. Good thing about cameras are they are portable. All right, I'm under, oh, this is loose. Loosey-goosey. Okay, well, those were not tight, which is interesting. But we're not gonna complain. Sometimes a bolt can be a pain in the backside. Sometimes it can be our friend. There's one. There's two. It's three. There's four. Now all the bolts don't want to stay in there because there's too many in here. All right, so one diff. So this is the early M76, 78 hybrid. 76 case and gears, 78 carrier or LSD. Could be an open. I doubt it, but it could be. Doesn't matter. We're upgrading it with a new modern diff. So we can put this one aside. And we'll get the other one up. This might be a challenge. I'll get Mr. Cameraman to assist. Up. All right, so we've got a travel plug or breather. Get rid of that. All right, grab the camera. Let's fit one 3.9 True Track diff. Now we need to fit a mount. It's not too hard. And we need to fit some ABS sensors. Now this diff is actually a VT M80. It is a high performance diff for the V6s, and it is a bigger ring gear and internals. And you'll usually find these in vehicles with more power, like an LS1, L67, etc. Now, hopefully, I'll drop my bolts, so I'll just get this lined up. All right, there's one. There's two. Three and four. So we get them nice and started. Installation is a lot like the removal. We do the front bolts. We do the back bolts. We do the sway bar. Up, hooks in. Oh. Both sides slide in first and rotate, and just popping out. Yes. Go again. Do one side at a time. Got one side. Outside. Slide in still. I'm sure that's not. Okay. Slide them out. Won't work. What's wrong with you? Popping out. And not happy. Slide Diff. We'll raise up. Take some tension off the sway bar. You're letting out a little bit of torsion spring or something. Nice. That's being like. I had both in. Put some with the. Go up. Where's the light? Someone use this stupid thing. Well, straight in. Yeah. Not the bolt, but the bracket went straight in. The bolt's still being a pain in the backside. And if this cross threads, I'm going to be in a world of hate. All right. Hey, Macarena. Time to dance.
I'm gonna say, DeWalt made one badass tool.
Yeah, you got to be careful. It'll knock you out. Well, or at least try. Well, my finger was on the trigger, but not on the bolt. Where's it going? Hey! Tweet! All right, so we need a diff mount rear. So we can just take that off the old diff. Don't need that. A quick look at the mount, see what condition it's in. Looks like it's actually a little bit broken on one side. But a little bit's not the worst thing. Some people update these mounts or put spacers, and some people just fill them full of urethane. Or there's a company here in Australia. Yeah, that's definitely collapsed. There's a company here in Australia that makes a double mount twin hump design, and it is an upgrade, and it'll downgrade your wallet a little bit too, but that's life, huh? All right, gotta check the springs. Spring's good. We need the main 4 bolts that'll go straight up into this mount. Should start them all first. Yeah, that's what happens. Loosen that up. 1, 2, 3, 4. No thumb war. All right. So we need 2 ABS sensors or traction control sensors, speed sensors. They've got a few different names. Oh good, I got 2 more. All right, so plug one in there. Plug one in there. Come on. So the sensor has a key or a lining pin. There we go. Once its orientation is done correctly, just goes straight in. And on this one, we've got a hook back here as well. Okay, so the breather tube is on. We're going to put these on, and we're going to put some bolts in as well on the ABS. Should have got some of those out and been ready. All good. Grab some in a moment. Do plenty of Commodores around here, so we've got spares. These are parts that can fail on install or fail in general. The spare bolts. So this CV boot is actually broken. It looks like it's just leaking a little bit, but no, it needs to be replaced. So we'll sort that out later. For now, we're just going to install the diff, like the rear mount. We can do something about that later. So just get going. 1, 2, 3. Oh, can't get it in. I got a shoe on or something. All right, hey. All right, other side. Hope you're all enjoying the extreme close-up. I don't think the context is really there, but hey, you can see. All right, we've got all those bolts. We now have to do the tail shaft bolts, and we're done. True track, upgrade, diff, installed. How hard was that? So not hard, you just pick up the phone or jump on the computer and order one. All right, a 5mm Allen key, very common. You'll need a 5mm Allen key for doing stuff on the front. Oh, that's right. Where are those predetermined? Yeah, all right. We'll come back to that. Okay, so that's done. We knit those up. Tail shaft. Same process as before. Fortunately, the bolts. Oh, where's my rag? I had to ditch that one because we had an oil leak. So yeah, someone's scuffed up these before. They're definitely not original. And when you look at the top of the diff that we pulled out, it says on top of it VRIRS. So someone has had this diff out. So it's all good, is what it is. I mean, car's been on the road for a long time. Did you expect it to have the original diff? Exactly. So we'll put one of those in. Probably don't need the rest of the bolts. Now I'm putting them in the wheel. If anyone forgets where they are, just remind me they're in the wheel. Okay. So pick a hole. There is 6. We're going to use 4. So we're going to get them all started before we do anything. Now, anyone just comment and think to themselves, hey, he put the wheels and, sorry, he put the nuts in the wheel and then he just turned the wheel. Didn't they just go out? They just rattle around like a washing machine. All right, what do we got? We got 2 more. There's 1. Get that in there. We got 2. All right, so tighten this up, go for a drive. Now with a new diff and stuff, you need to take it easy for 500 kilometers. Don't know what your miles are, sorry. But the thing you got to be prepared for is the speedometer. So these ones have a magneto on the transmission. This is a 4L60, but some people call it the 700. It is a 1-piece case, but yeah, it has a magnetic pickup on the extension housing, which unfortunately, it means you can't just fit a gear, a different toothed gear, and move on. To adjust the speedo or calibrate the change, because this is going to read probably 15 k's out, maybe even 30, it depends on how it was and tyre size, what have you. So depending on a few things, there's my 916. Actually, 14.6 is 14.3 is a little small, especially on the bolts that are pre-rounded by someone. I don't really want to tighten it up in the same manner that I undid it, but slightly damaged hardware. What options do we have? So let's get this right. Hold the weld yoke and the end, because the nut will jam in the back and it will tighten itself, but we need to turn the bolt. So that's pretty weird. It's not what you do on a lot of nut and bolts on a car. Regularly on a nut and bolt, you undo the nut. You don't actually undo the bolt. The bolt has tension on it, whereas the nut has a different torque and is often easier. And then what happens if you've got a canned bolt or a knurled bolt? Because you're going to just stuff it straight away. So rule of thumb, see a nut, undo the damn thing. All right, this is tightening up real well. Not using the best appropriate manner to do so. However, we need it nice and tight. Yes, FT, really damn tight. All right, so I've just double checked that. All right, so these diffs are pre-filled with oil. You can always undo the cap on the back when it's fitted. If oil dribbles out, that means you've got oil. The oil actually goes up to the level of the seals for the sides or tubes on a differential. There's another tech tip. All right, let's keep moving. Wait, we're done.